First item up is item 4, Commissioner Ritter and Commissioner Wexler.
Thank you, Mayor. I pulled this item because I can't support it today. I'm sure that's no surprise to the members, to my colleagues on the dais. I continue to be disturbed that this commission wishes to prop up the city of Lauderdale Lakes, which doesn't seem to be changing its way of business. If this were a private sector item, there is no way that this board of directors would be lending this vendor money time after time with no movement or progress in its ability to repay its debts. As a result, and since I like to think that government can run like a business when it wants to, I can't support this item today.
Thank you, Commissioner Ritter. At least you are consistent. Commissioner Wexler.
And I'm going to be as brief as Commissioner Ritter on this item. I'm going to make a motion. I do support the concept of the item, and I certainly understand moving this forward. My objection is the 8-month period. I really don't want to fund this through the end of this fiscal year. Okay with 4 months, considering they've already paid their March debt to the county. And because the invoice comes in and the bill comes in monthly from Lauderdale Lakes to BSO, we've already found ourselves not in a very good position with 2 cities in Broward County. And so I would prefer, and they have kept their word. They have been on time. They have significantly, I adjust that word. They have consistently paid down their debt, which makes us healthier than we were 18 months ago. And the next debt payment, I believe, is due in June. And that's good because we were significantly in the hole. So I will make a motion to change the forward time to 4 months instead of 8 months, which takes it to February, March, April, May, June of 2013.
I'll second that.
All right. The motion has been made and seconded. Is there comments on the motion? Commissioner Kiar.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And, I appreciate, of course, the prudent way that Commissioner Wexler is handling this. And, but in this particular matter, I actually agree with Commissioner Ritter. And the reason being is I know that they have paid their bills on time, and it appears that they're trying to work out their financial difficulties. I am personally somewhat discouraged with Lauderdale Lakes, and the reason being is because there's been a request for a state audit from the Joint Legislative Auditing Committee. Commissioner Ritter has sent a very well-worded letter asking that happen. Senator Ring has also requested and forwarded Commissioner Ritter's letter to them, and it appears that they're fighting it every step of the way. And so for myself, I actually feel very uncomfortable voting to give Lauderdale Lakes anything at this time, solely due to the fact that I don't believe that they are acting in good faith. I think they should cooperate and have the audit done so that we could have a full and transparent understanding as to where their finances are and if everything is in order. So at this time, I feel uncomfortable supporting it, so I'm going to vote no as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Holness.
Yes. I don't understand this. I don't. This city finds itself in a precarious situation because of the economic downturn. Sure, there are other things that happen along the way, but if you look at the city, you'll find that their tax base has been damaged more than probably anywhere else because they depend primarily on residential property for their ad valorem income for taxes. Now, they have worked to right the ship the best they can. Our auditor has been on this case, looking at it from every angle, and I'd like for him to tell us what they've done so far and what his take is on this. And here's what I think we're doing. We're putting them in a situation now where they're probably not going to be able to live up to something we're demanding of them. They've given us their word. They've lived to it. They've paid down the debt that they have. They've done everything that we've asked that possibly could be done. And now we're putting them in a situation where they probably only alternative to declare bankruptcy. If the auditor would take us through what we've done, where we've been so far with.
Mr. Lukic.
If I may. This has been a long-term issue. The city has had significant financial problems, as has been publicized over the last 2 years. As part of that process, they were not paying for sheriff services in some prior years, and they ran up a bill with the sheriff to the tune of a little over $9 million. Since that time, we've been working with them over the last 2 years. They've reduced the amount that they owe BSO by approximately $1.6 million. They have been paying for services on an advance basis. They pay before the month of the service to be rendered. The board has previously approved the appropriations, first for a 4-month period where we had security, and then on a month-to-month basis. They have complied with all the requirements that we've put upon them. At this point, this issue of having a state audit is something that I just became aware of in terms of the lobbying effort. But I don't think it changes the circumstances that we're not providing services in advance. We're not lending them money. The county is simply providing an appropriation to the sheriff to provide the service once the city has paid for the services. So that's all I can say about the circumstances right now.
Commissioner Holness, you still have the floor.
Well, it seems that this is more punitive than anything else. Because if in fact, they're paying in advance, which is what they're doing. They've already paid March's payment. They're paying in advance for the services. They made an agreement to pay down the debt by X dollars. They have complied with that, actually probably beyond what they asked. They're $1.6 million they have paid off that debt. What else are they to do at this point in time? They've cut everything that they possibly could, from my knowledge, and unless someone want to go in and show them where else they could cut, what else they could do, they're trying to right the ship. They've made a lot of adjustments in that city over the past 2 years. And hopefully this year, with property values again on the rebound, hopefully they will. Last year they actually had a downturn. Whereas most other cities didn't have any downturn last year, they had a depreciation in property values, causing them to lose ad valorem dollars again. And even with that, they've been able to comply with what we've put on them.
Commissioner Holness, I have other members on the queue that want to speak to this item, and we have a time certain, so I'm going to ask you if you would hold your comments in reserve so we can get through the other speakers on our dais. Commissioner Ritter, followed by Commissioner Gunsberger.
Thank you. I don't really want to debate this ad nauseum. I expect it will pass today, and I don't think that we need to debate it ad nauseum. But let me remind you of just a few things, Commissioner Holness. The entire county had an economic downturn. Broward County was in desperate and dire straits, and we didn't raise taxes in order to compensate for services that we could no longer afford. We cut services. Other cities had the same economic issues as Broward County did. In fact, the whole county had these issues. Everybody lost ad valorem taxes, but Broward County didn't raise taxes as a result. We did the prudent thing. We had responsible leadership. We have a responsible administration and staff. And they took the budget. They decided what we needed to do in order to be responsible to our constituents. We didn't raise taxes up to almost the cap like the city of Lauderdale Lakes did. In addition, while I certainly do, I am pleased to know that they're paying in advance. By the way, they're paying in advance. We are giving them something that we're not giving any other city. So I'm sorry. I would expect a thank you from them, not a gee. You know, we expect this to happen. Their questionable CRA practices continue to dog them. And until the State Auditing Committee can opine that this city used its CRA dollars according to state statute and not in violation of state statute, I can't support their request. In addition, if this were a business running like this, they would have changed their leadership when things started to go south. And the same people are in charge of Lauderdale Lakes as were in charge of this when everything started to go down. You want to know where they can save money, Commissioner Holness? They didn't have to give their city manager a raise. An egregious, ridiculous amount of money in a time when everyone else was cutting, they gave their city manager a raise. There are lots of things they could do. There are lots of things they still could do to right their ship, and I don't see it happening. So that's why I can't support this or any other item dealing with Lauderdale Lakes until we get answers from the state. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Ritter. Commissioner Gunsberger.
Perhaps a compromise to what Commissioner Wexler offered would be that we continue to do this on a monthly basis rather than 4 months out or 5 months out. If they have prepaid, then we accept it and wait for the next month rather than just voting. Maybe that would be one after we vote either for or against. If it goes down, that would be a different compromise that we could talk about afterwards.
Okay, so the motion that's on the floor is to basically do what we did before, which is extend 4 months. They would continue to pay month to month, but they are extended that grace for 4 months. Speaking from me, I have been the biggest critic of the processes that brought us to this place, and I do think that there are other cities, the city of Fort Lauderdale with their dispatch, that have are similarly situated, and those issues are yet to be resolved. With that in mind, since the city has continued to hold up its end of the bargain, I am happy to support the amended motion proffered by Commissioner Wexler and seconded by, I guess, Commissioner LaMarca. Any other discussion on the motion?
If I may get the city managers in before.
Commissioner
Would you please?
Holness, I believe this item is most likely going to be supported, so in the interest of time, would you please hold that? Thank you. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign? No. Let the record show 3 noes. Motion passes. Thank you.